Welcome back, gaming fans, to another explainer. So, if you're anything like me, you absolutely love that feeling of discovering something incredible that just somehow slipped under the radar. I mean, let's face it, the mainstream gaming market is insanely saturated right now. Every single year, we're flooded with these massive blockbusters, right? Huge marketing budgets, titles that just suck all the oxygen out of the room. And because of all that constant noise, some truly brilliant masterpieces, games with mind-blowing mechanics, stunning art, and stories you will literally never forget, they often just get completely overshadowed. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We're looking at the absolute greatest hidden gems in gaming history that you absolutely need to play. Okay, let's dive right into this, because I really want to frame this properly from the get-go. This isn't just some random list of obscure niche titles. The games we're looking at today are incredible, critically acclaimed experiences. But for one reason or another, they just didn't find that massive mainstream audience they totally deserved at launch. Seriously, if you love video games, these are foundational experiences that you're actively missing out on. So let's break down exactly what makes them so special. Section 1. High-octane action and strategy. Overlooked thrills and tactical brilliance. Now, what's really interesting here is how titles like Freedom Planet and Binary Domain took these existing concepts and just completely elevated them. Take Freedom Planet from 2014, for example. What actually started out as a simple fan project evolved into, honestly, one of the best indie platformers ever made. It isn't just some nostalgic throwback. It's got this lightning-fast gameplay, super memorable characters, and surprisingly deep combat. And then, jumping to 2012, we have Binary Domain. Now, this sci-fi action game was completely overshadowed by the bigger titles of its era, but man, it boasts incredibly satisfying gunplay and really intelligent enemy AI. And the real kicker, it has this totally unique trust system. Your squad mates actually react dynamically to the choices you make right in the heat of battle. It's wild. Real quick, before we move to our next theme, I've got to shout out a few mechanically brilliant honorable mentions. You've got Sleeping Dogs from 2012, which delivered this brutal hand-to-hand combat and a super gripping undercover cop drama set in a richly detailed Hong Kong. It deserved way more attention than it got. Then there's 2014 Sunset Overdrive. This one remains a huge cult favorite because of its insanely fast-paced movement, outrageous weapons, and just non-stop humor. A lot of players unfortunately skipped it. And finally, 2018's The Messenger. It starts off as this retro ninja platformer, but then it brilliantly evolves into a full-blown Metroidvania. We're talking razor-sharp controls and literally one of the best indie soundtracks ever composed. Moving on to Section 2, Masterpieces of Player Choice, where your decisions actually matter. So the core gameplay loop of 2010's Alpha Protocol really comes down to 3 brilliant steps. You choose your dialogue, you forge strategic alliances, and then you watch as those decisions dramatically alter the overarching story. Now, yes, the game definitely had its rough edges at launch. It was made by Obsidian Entertainment, but honestly, very few RPGs in history have ever offered this level of genuine player choice. It's designed in such a way that every single playthrough feels completely unique to you. It is a literal masterclass in branching narratives. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Think about your traditional RPGs, right? Your ultimate goal is pretty much always to save the world from some ancient evil. But in 2016's Tyranny, also by Obsidian, by the way, you actually serve the evil. The bad guys have already won. This is a brilliantly written RPG that explores morality from a really uncommon perspective. You play as an agent of the Overlord, and every single decision you make reshapes the balance of power across this completely conquered world. If you're a fan of deep storytelling, it's an absolute must-play. Okay, Section 3, Puzzles and Unique Mechanics. Thinking outside the box. If you love mechanics that really make you think, these two are definitely for you. Crosscode from 2018 perfectly blends that classic 16-bit action RPG charm with incredibly fluid combat and deeply modern puzzle design. It highly rewards your exploration with these really clever dungeons and an emotional story that will absolutely stick with you. But then we have 2010's Ghost Trick Phantom Detective. You guys, this is one of gaming's smartest mystery adventures. You literally solve murders by possessing everyday objects to manipulate the environment. I do have to warn you, though, the plot is packed with some of gaming's absolute smartest twists, so you definitely want to experience this one completely spoiler-free. So the crucial point here is that Prey quietly became one of the finest immersive sims ever made. It was released in 2017 by Arcane Studios, but it unfortunately got totally sandwiched between bigger blockbuster titles. The thing is, the entire game takes place on a space station that acts as one giant interconnected puzzle box. It's absolutely packed full of secrets, and it gives you this unparalleled level of player freedom to tackle obstacles however you see fit. I mean, you can literally turn into a coffee mug to roll through a small gap. It's seriously that creative. Moving on to Section 4, Stunning Artistic Visions, Games as Interactive Art. First up in this category is The Saboteur from 2009. This open-world adventure is set in occupied Paris during World War II, but what really makes it stand out is its striking black and white art style. The world is literally drained of all its color. But as you go around sabotaging enemy installations and liberating neighborhoods, vibrant color actually physically blossoms back into the world around you. It's this incredible visual transition that brilliantly reflects your progress. It just makes the whole act of liberation feel incredibly rewarding. Next is a true classic, Okami, released way back in 2006. This is a breathtaking adventure that's deeply inspired by Japanese mythology, and it features the stunning watercolor art style that honestly remains entirely timeless today. But you know what really makes Okami a masterpiece? The art isn't just there to look pretty, it's actually central to the gameplay mechanics. You play as a sun goddess in the form of a wolf, and you literally paint brushstrokes onto the screen to solve environmental puzzles and battle enemies. How cool is that? One final standout in this category that we've got to mention is 2008's Valkyria Chronicles. It uses these gorgeous watercolor visuals that literally look like a moving painting. It perfectly blends turn-based strategy with real-time action, and it wraps the whole thing up in a highly compelling war story. It's such a unique tactical RPG, and honestly, even today, there is still nothing else quite like it in the genre. And now, Section 5, the ultimate hidden gem, the quintessential masterpiece. Let's move on and see how this all builds up. Despite universal critical acclaim, the cinematic adventure never found the massive audience it deserved. That quote perfectly encapsulates the tragic, but frankly brilliant reality of our top pick. It's a game that reviewers absolutely adored, a game that the people who played it championed relentlessly, but it somehow just missed out on being a massive commercial juggernaut. And that game is the 2003 classic Beyond Good and Evil. Seriously, this game did the impossible. It perfectly blended gripping stealth mechanics, incredibly deep world exploration, a really engaging in-game photography system, and some of the most heartfelt storytelling of its entire era. You play as Jade, this investigative reporter trying to uncover a massive alien conspiracy. And the way the game just effortlessly weaves all of these totally distinct mechanics into one unforgettable, cohesive experience, it's nothing short of breathtaking. It is, without a doubt, the #1 greatest hidden gem in gaming history. I mean it. If you're a fan of video games as a medium, Beyond Good and Evil is a quintessential masterpiece that you absolutely must play. It represents this era of incredible creativity and massive risk-taking that, let's be real, we just don't see as often in today's mainstream market. So looking back, spanning from Beyond Good and Evil all the way back in 2003, through Okami, Ghost Trick, Tyranny, and right up to Crosscode in 2018, we're really looking at decades of brilliant design here. It just emphasizes how long some of these amazing titles have been sitting there, waiting for players exactly like you to discover them. We're talking about decades of compelling narratives and innovative mechanics that are literally just a download away. So I leave you with one final question to think about. Which masterpiece will you finally discover next? I'm going to challenge you here. The next time you're looking for something to play, look past the massive marketing campaigns. Look past the mainstream blockbusters. Take a chance and dive into one of these waiting worlds. I guarantee you won't regret it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, you guys. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next one.